Good afternoon, sports fans. And guess what? We're back again for part 2 of Big Things Fantasy Football League. Where did they finish last year and what will they do this year? 3 new teams to discuss, and let's get right to it. Who are we going to talk about? Very simple. First team we got up, the West Coast Ryders. Dre Day. No big deal. What happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. They ended up 5-7 because they should have ended up 5-7. That's what happens when you got a mediocre team with a mediocre coach who makes mediocre moves. They end up in a mediocre position. Okay, let's talk about the team he had. Eli Manning at quarterback. Wasn't a great year since Plexico went out. Bet you didn't think about that. Michael Turner actually had a great year running back for the Atlanta Falcons, and it proved out to be a good pick. Larry Johnson, how'd that work out for you? Antonio Bryant was a great pickup after the injury to Galloway. He actually scored some points. Lance Moore produced as a wide receiver, but not the type of production that you'd actually want. Wes Welker, he was dropped by the Gibsonians once Brady went out. 2 weeks after that, he was picked up. Not a bad pickup. Dustin Keller, good tight end for the Jets. Very fast, very strong. No longer with the Jets, though. Wonder how that panned out. The Ravens defense was a great pickup. Also, this guy obviously lived off of the Gibsonians bench because the Gibsonians had the Ravens defense at draft day. Matt Bryant, Tampa Bay kicker, was a good kicker. Actually did some things, but, what can you say? Steven Jackson, all the contract issues, the camp holdout, no offensive line, probably wasn't a great pick. Brandon Jacobs, good for the plunge, actually did some production. Tyler Thigpen off the bench was a good pickup. He was actually pretty fast. They had him run the ball a little bit. Jeremy Shockey did not produce like he was expected to. Will Blackman, the rookie, and Harry Douglas, the wide receiver who used to be in Atlanta, is no longer in Atlanta. That is how you end up mediocre, folks. Exactly. And let's move on to the westup go-getters. Henry Swan, just off of his Super Bowl trail. He was still the champ until he wasn't the champ anymore. Good quarterback, good running backs. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers can't complain. Good running backs, Frank Gore and Clinton Portis, can't complain. Pierre Thomas was a great pickup, can't complain. That's a great core right there. TJ Houshmandzadeh was, unfortunately Carson Palmer got hurt, couldn't produce. Josh Cribbs actually got him some points. Antonio Gates, who would complain about that pick? So these are actually good people we're looking at, right? Packers defense. That was a good defense to have. One-on-one coverage, usually get a lot of turnovers. Sebastian Janikowski, he's coming around as a kicker. Not a bad pickup. We got Lee Evans in Buffalo. His quarterbacks were hurt, so he got no production. Dwayne Bowe, not a bad wide receiver, but just didn't have a quarterback. The Jets, that defense was a great defense last year, contrary to belief. Vernon Davis as a tight end, I think he's going to be a different person this year after he got cussed out on the sidelines. Matt Castle actually was a good pickup. Wait a minute. How many quarterbacks does this guy have? Matt Castle, he's got like 12 quarterbacks. Rob Baronis actually was not a bad kicker. Why do you need 2 of them? I don't know. Moving on to the 5th overall team, the Hartford Huslas. This team actually, they give a lot of people fits. They ended up finishing in 5th place. Let me say it again. They ended up finishing in 5th place with a 9-3 record. Once again, early ousted. Joe Flacco is a quarterback. That was a lot of faith in that position. Marshawn Lynch, I'm sure he'll stay in Buffalo. Matt Forte, I'm sure he'll stay. J.J. Arrington, I'm not sure about that one. Randy Moss was a great pick. Anquan Bolden was a great pick, minus the broken face. Jason Witten was a good pick for a tight end. These are good players. The Bills defense, Steven Gostkowski was a great kicker. He produced, went to the Pro Bowl. Can't complain about that. Darren McFadden, Kevin Curtis as a wide receiver, he's probably worth to have as a keeper this year with McNabb's weapons and Curtis actually feeling better. Think about that one. Glenn Holt, wide receiver of Cincinnati. Unfortunately, Carson Palmer was out. Kyle Lorton, no. Vincent Jackson, this is a good wide receiver. I think he's turning the corner. Takes about 4 years to actually, get your ability up to speed in the NFL. Anthony Fasano as a Miami tight end was an original pick, but that was the Hartford Hustlers, and this was great movement, actually, through the free agents and draft. This is a good compilation of players, but unfortunately didn't pan successful when playoff time came. And pretty much, that's we say it again. This is a long season. This season goes the whole way. You can't just have a good team at the beginning of the draft. You have to know how to manipulate. You have to know how to use your team. You have to know how to find advantages. And that's exactly why the Hartford Hustlers ended up 9-3 and did not end up in the Final Four. Thanks for tuning in once again. I'm Trey Gibson. This is Big Things Fantasy Football. Who's next?